Hey guys, today is a very exciting episode for us. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thanks so much for being with us. If you'd like to be subscriber number 1001, why not hit that subscribe button right now? In today's episode, we are going to be talking about language learning tips. So, roll the intro. Have you ever met someone who could speak another language and you ask them how they did it? They might tell you things like focus on the grammar, watch movies, listen, talk, live the language. There's lots of different advice out there, but today we're going to give you 8 proven language learning tips to help you with your language journey. Language learning tip number 1. Use images and personal connections. Now, using images whilst you're learning new vocabulary is a great way to help your recollection. For example, if you're learning the word for dog in any language, why not have an image or play a video of your own dog whilst you're trying to learn that new vocabulary? Tip number 2, recalling is better than reviewing. Now, do you remember Bart Simpson after school in detention writing line after line of some important lesson that he had to know? How many of those lessons do you think he actually remembered? Now, when you're out and about and you think, what's that word? What is it that's going to help me in this situation? And then, bang, there, you remember the word and it's really helpful. Well, in that situation, your brain actually gives you a small hit of dopamine, making you feel great, and also sending a message to your brain that this is an important word that you need to remember. Language learning tip number 3. Timing is everything. Now, if everything we learned went straight into our long-term memory, everyone would be able to speak multiple languages, wouldn't they? Unfortunately, that's not how memory works. The trick is to recall vocabulary around about the time that you're going to forget it. You can do this by using a spaced repetition system, wherein about 1 month after you've learned new vocabulary, you should pull out the flashcards, the textbooks, the videos, and remind yourself of this vocabulary and learn it again, so to speak. Tip number 4 is around sounds and instant feedback. In 2012, Stanford University took a group of adult Japanese English learning students. They showed them words like rake and lake, red and lead, law, raw, and asked them to differentiate between the two using just sound. Now, there's no sound L in the Japanese language. How are they supposed to differentiate between these words? Not surprisingly, all of the students did very poorly when asked to compare the two different words. Then the students took the test again and were given instant feedback, letting them know whether they got the answers right or wrong. Well, within 1 hour, every single student could differentiate between the R sound and the L sound. They did this through instant feedback. Tip number 5, use Google Images. Now, why do you think Google Images would help you so much? Well, when you type in a word in the language that you're learning, Google Images scans the entire internet and shows you this word in its correct context. And just like in language learning tip number 1, you're going to see this word through images, and it's going to help you recall it much better, but also in the correct context in which the word should be used. Tip number 6, avoid translators. Now, this might sound a little bit counterintuitive. Why would you want to avoid a translator when you're studying a new language? Well, this is why. Has anyone ever come up to you in your native language and said something that was technically correct, but no native speaker ever says it that way? Well, this is the work of translators. Translators are terrible at grammar. If I was to take something in English and translate it into Mandarin, the grammar rules would be different, and I would say it verbatim the way the translator wanted me to, but it's not necessarily the way native speakers talk. Language learning tip number 7. Now this is possibly my favorite tip because it's so motivating. Did you know that if you learn 1,000 words in any language, you're going to have 85% of the day-to-day spoken language? If you learn 3,000 words, you're going to know 95% of all spoken words in that language. So pretty motivating, right? Learn 1,000 words, learn 3,000 words, and you're going to be very comfortable out on the street. Here's another cool thing. Learn 10 nouns, 10 verbs, and 10 adjectives. 10 times 10 times 10, you'll be able to say 1,000 different things. And the more words you add to your vocabulary, you're just adding to your existing knowledge, giving you more and more ways to express yourself and communicate in that language. Our last language learning tip has been sitting in front of us the whole time. LTL stands for Live the Language, and that's our company. Yes, we're a little bit biased on this last tip, but it's something we really do stand behind. If you are learning a language, you should definitely go to a country where that language is spoken. For example, if you're studying Mandarin, you should definitely come to China. Take some classes, walk around, talk to locals, taxi drivers, shop owners, etc. It's a wonderful way to tell your brain that these words that you're learning are important. If you've enjoyed this video, the link to our blog talking about more language learning tips is in the description section below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.